Yeah, yeah.
Now you are.
Hello. Good morning. I'm online. I'm online. I just started. I know I'm late. And I was doing so. Yes, I know. You could change the topics, right? Yeah, you know the rules. I talk about what I want to talk about until you call to change the subject. Yeah, y'all that don't be calling, y'all to be like, just keep talking. I don't understand. Okay, we good. I will. Okay. Oh, okay, no problem. All right, cool. Okay, bye bye. Okay. Oh, so I missed the whole Trump today, and I'm so mad. And then I went looking for it as I was coming up the road, but apparently, like they started on time, had to have been, and so they probably been to like already to their end stop, and maybe they were playing there because I missed it. But it wasn't really my fault because the power went. So yeah, I didn't have any power for a minute. So and then when you don't have power, it'll just throw your whole morning off. Like I wasn't able, I have to get up, I have to drink the first cup of coffee.
Right.
I have a process.
That's right.
And I couldn't. Yes,
The
and
power
then
throws off the routine.
yes, and so then I had to start over when the power came on. With and then
you have like a go-to plan when that goes.
No, and no. I only made. I guess so bougie now. Oh, I have to
but you
tell.
only have the special coffee maker now?
Yes, I only. Well, no, I have a
right.
regular. I have a. No.
Just need
Well,
to get some,
no.
like-
When I have this Santo Domingo, when I'm making the Santo Domingo coffee, I have a percolator thing that you pour on the stove, right? But that coffee done, so that's the only coffee that is going there. So that's from Don Felipe, and he bring me no new coffee, so I can't use that. Then I have I have one of the old time coffee pots where you put water and you put in the paper and you pour the coffee and it drip.
Like an actual coffee maker?
Like that's what it's called. I was trying to remember the name.
The
right?
original coffee maker?
The original coffee maker. But Chappie gifted me like a Keurig maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Kind now.
But Chappie the maximum cup you get 10 cups of coffee. Which I think is good, but I want one that could go up to 12 cups. Right? Yeah. So but
you need power. You need to get a solar
so
one.
yeah, maybe I need a solar power coffee maker.
So there's like battery operated.
Yeah, battery operated or something. But then so I need to tell Chappie I need like a different he need to upgrade me for Christmas.
Yes.
Like that's what I want. I want a new
Those firstborn.
I need a new Keurig. And so I wasn't able to make the coffee, and then sometimes they'll run out. The only place on St. Croix really that'll have the Cafe Bustelo is the market, and sometimes the people is be coming to buy it for their office and stuff.
Yeah, that would be
and piss me off, right? When they don't have any.
I buy the two. I bought two of the little ones.
No. I'd buy the big ones.
Yes,
the
but
one
when they're out, you have to
the
get
one
them
for
out.
$59. That's a lot of them. The giant one. Yes, because I don't need coffee. I'd buy 2 at a time, so I could always have. And so I'd carry some to the office, and then I'd keep some at home. So when the one at home was running out, I just went and buy a new box from the market knows to call me when it reach. You don't get it twisted. The market got me on lock.
Yes.
Listen, them girls in the market know. And I like Bustelo con leche, the cafe con leche. It is so good, but I don't think that's a good seller. I don't know if people like it really, but I like it for my evening, my before bed coffee.
Is that what it comes in the packs, right?
It's the same thing the cafe, the regular Bustelo, but this one is with con leche. So it's a little bit softer. And I like that right before bedtime. Yeah, I like coffee. And so I had to stop, and then and so
That's how that is.
And then so I'm doing incremental steps. So I stopped doing the regular creamer, and now I only do either oat or almond creamer.
Nice.
Because I'm trying to transition off of cow milk.
Good.
Right?
Good,
I don't.
good,
Well,
good.
I don't. But I don't.
It's small steps. It's okay.
It's
You gotta
very
start
very
somewhere. You
small
gotta start
steps.
somewhere,
Very
though.
small steps.
That's okay. You're
But-
being conscious about it.
No, but
Okay.
then I realized that almonds don't make milk. Like they don't lactate.
No. Oh, just stop.
Okay.
And you blend it, and it just stop. Stop with that already.
So
stop.
I don't know how we're going to. I don't know. You can't milk a tree. So I don't know how we're going to taste with cornflakes. And like
it's good.
I mean, that's all Shashamani has ever eaten, and he don't act like it tastes good, right?
It is good.
And so the thing is, somebody's going to have to fix me a bowl of cornflakes. And I can't see that they put in the almond milk in it, and then I could drink it, I could eat it. Yeah. But then if I know it's almond milk, I don't automatically think I don't like it, because I need cow.
You have to train your mind. It's okay.
Yeah, and then something is going on with me because every time I eat chicken, I look into vomit. I don't know where. That is not good.
It is good. You are transitioning.
Transitioning to what?
To all of a sudden, chicken. That's good. Yes, your body's like no more.
My body needs to get it all the way together. How come my body don't say, let me transition from not being fat?
Yes, but your body is doing that because it's telling you don't eat this no more.
My body ain't transitioning to say, well, let's be skinny. It wants to tell me, let we not eat meat.
No, just start eating more,
I need meat.
Salads, more greens. You take out the carbs.
I want, listen, for the last couple of times I eat chicken, I've been looking to vomit, like nauseating vomit. The girls in the office were laughing after me. Good morning, guys.
No, that's a good
Something is going on with me. Good morning, Ilma. How are you? Okay, let me go live. Okay, good morning.
Here we go.
Okay.
Live.
Let me talk to my fans. They are really my fans because these people don't really like me. I don't like me, right? They don't like me. They don't cuss me. I have
to watch.
Yeah, they just like to tune in so they can cuss me. So what do you call them? What do you call them? If they're your fans, what they are? My listeners.
Yes.
The audience who like to blows me off. Good morning. It is a Saturday after Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Tomorrow isn't promised to anybody. Like I told my aunt when she was up here last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever Auntie Mona was here, I was beefing with my mother. Wait, let me fix my little puff because I went to the beach yesterday, and let me try to fix it because I have there's these knots to the top of my head. I have they're called fanamis. Okay. I have family that would text me and tell me your hair look bad, but I went to the beach yesterday. I love you too, Anne. I went to the beach yesterday and I come home last night and I washed my hair. And you know how people are putting products? Well, I don't own any products. I have conditioner and I have like Dax grease. You don't probably even use it. I don't own gel. I don't own none of them things. And so I went to sleep on a wet head. And then this morning, my intention was to go to Stanley. And so when I got up this morning, power went. Power did come back like a little bit after 6. And I made my cup of coffee. I sat down and I drank my coffee. I went to take a shower and then I contemplated wetting my whole hair. But it'll take I don't know. I have my hair is really weird. Like one side of my head the dry fast. And then the other side of my head don't dry fast. And then one side the curl up and it look like pretty lush curls on one side. And then the other side they look like the curls struggling. And so what I did was I just wet the top and I just use my hands because I don't own a comb to clear it out. I'm going to go to the store today and I'm going to buy a comb to clear it out. And the brush my brush break. And so only Shashamani brush, and his hair is he has nice soft hair. His hair will work good. So his brush couldn't clear out my hair. So I had to just take my hands and put it up in this puff thing. And my listening audience, you can't tell. This is why I love my listening audience. Y'all can't see the wreck of a hair I have today. But for my people who listen to me and watching me on Facebook, all in here is just the knots that need to be cleared out. And so it looks like I really have no hair on my head because it's see, you have knots all around, but it's okay. It's just hair. And I'm gonna get some conditioner and some grease and buy a nice brush to clear it out, and then down the road we go and it'll be smooth. All right. Somebody calling already. And Jen isn't here. Let me turn down the volume. Hold on. Let me see. Somebody calling though. Good morning.
Morning.
Hi.
Hey,
How are you?
fine.
How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was it was great.
Oh, that's good.
Eventless, but great.
That's good. Mine was good too. I had a wonderful time. Did you
Did you cook?
uh-huh. No, that would be a capital N and a capital O. No, no, no. Bite your tongue.
Jamila, we gotta get you a husband. You gotta cook.
I mean, no, I tell people all the time. It's not that I can't. I'm a really, from the 16, 20 days, I tell people the only thing I know how to make is macaroni and cheese with Vienna sausage in it, right? But I but I mean, I can cook. It's not. I mean, I can cook. I'm a really. My grandmother is a Puerto Rican. People used to come to her to cook food for them, so I know how to cook. I just would prefer that I don't. I would prefer just to eat, not to have to cook. So, and I have a cousin that, my younger cousin that, that is her function, her role, her duty, when her daughter is listening and they tell her I gonna get in trouble. But everybody in the family have roles and positions that they play, and hers is master chef. So
Awesome. Well, I can't change your topic.
yes, tell me.
So I bought some fish last weekend, and I had an interesting conversation over here in St. Thomas with the fishermen, and they are
So wait, you to buy
everybody
fish
knows that
with
our
you to buy fish with head?
yes,
Oh, okay.
listen, tilapia and them thing in Jamaica to our territory, but we just buy local fish with head from our fisherman, and everybody know that our community is the Frenchy community, the fishing community.
Yes.
And so the fishermen, some of them had like some very interesting, I engaged them in discussion, and they had some very interesting concerns.
Okay.
For instance, they feel as though they're being forced out of their tradition of fishing. There's a lot of fines that's being imparted upon them, whereas their counterparts in other islands like Catola, Anguilla, so on and so forth, they don't have restrictions or moratoriums on fishing certain things, and they don't have those fines. And so it's easier for Virgin Islanders now to import certain crustaceans that may have a moratorium in St. Thomas, whereas they don't have a moratorium in Anguilla, like Conch, so on and so forth. It's easier for Virgin Islanders to buy imported products than support the fishermen. And then the concern was the tilapia and all of those fish that are not germane to the territory that now are being um, used here in the territory. And so they feel as though, their trade they're being pushed out of their trade, so to speak. And it was such an interesting conversation. And I said that I was going to get a few of them together and do a live with them so that we could understand. Because for history, for generations, I remember growing up, going down to Subways by fishing on the dock, or even going down by Frenchtown, buying the fish from the fisherman on the field, by the market square, so on and so forth. So that's something that we really, really need to address. I know you work for a senator. I know it's a St. Croix senator, but to me, I feel like all of the senators do have conversations.
When they get elected, they represent all of the islands. But one of the things, though, as I'm listening to you, when people start to talk about what happens in Tortola and Anguilla versus what happens here, the first thing I start out with is we're two different countries. One is we're an insular territory of the United States, and Tortola and Anguilla, they are part of the Commonwealth, the British Commonwealth. And so the laws are very different. I know that in the United States, they put these moratoriums in place where to protect I want to say the ecosystem, to make sure that we aren't overfishing, making sure that the fish that you're collected, that you bring on shore is a certain weight, so that baby fish could live to become adult fish. And I understand that there may be some difficulties with people in accepting some of the restrictions, but the restrictions were imposed to protect the wildlife. Because when you overfish, and we've seen in other places that don't have safeguards in places, where once populous fish, once populous any kind of animal, when you overhunt them or overfish them, they become extinct, so, and then they're placed on an endangered species list, and the world is trying to rebuild that population. So some of the restrictions are in place to prevent the overfishing of certain things. And I sometimes, when I'm not up here, and sometimes I have the opportunity to fill in for Neville James over on our only public broadcasting station in the territory, WTJX. And I had the opportunity to interview, when Neville was somewhere, one of the people from DPNR. And they were talking about the opening and the closing of the season, and how much more fish you can fish. And when she was having that discussion with me, she said, I distinctly remember her saying that we had like tens of thousands of pounds left that the fishermen were able to fish, and that they hadn't reached the threshold number as yet. So while there may be closed down periods where you can't fish for certain things, they are quotas of the amount you can fish, and there is nothing that says that you can't harvest the fish and then sell it during the off season to your clients. You just have to build that relationship.
I want us to. I would like you to invite some fishermen to your show to just basically explain to us their challenges. Like maybe
no
one
problem.
from St. Thomas to Tallinn and one from St. Croix. Because they even talked about, because we're the Virgin Islands, we smile.
Mm-hmm.
And they even talked about some of their family members in St. Croix that do not have those, the island of St. Croix don't have a lot of the restrictions that the island of St. Thomas have. And I could believe that, because I remember one time I called St. Croix for an event that I was doing. I was like, but isn't this the way that it's done? Because I did it in St. Thomas, and this is the way that it's done. And they were like, two different districts.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So, there's no standardization with practices. And I always say I love St. Croix, because to me, I feel like St. Croix is a real island. Like St. Croix operates like a Caribbean island. Whenever I come to St. Croix, I get the feel of island. So that's why I love St. Croix so much. I mean,
and we love you too. We love you too.
What you say?
We love you too.
What Jamila said? Yeah, I know you love it too, but you love St. Thomas too.
I say I love you too. You say you love us.
Oh yeah. We love you.
Listen, listen. You know I love St. Thomas. Listen, I love St. Thomas. I have sisters over there, and aunts and uncles, and no uncle. Yeah, I have uncles over there too. Yeah, I love St. Thomas.
But Jamila,
yeah,
I love Jamban more.
Listen, I love Listen, let me tell you. I see. Listen, I see. Danny had a post, a reel on Facebook for Jamban. Why I was watching in the crowd to see if I find myself, to make sure it don't have no evidence out there of me. I was like, huh?
Jamila, let me tell you something, right? I just want to say that I love listening to your show. I love participating in your show. That's why I said, well, where's Jamila? She late today. Where is Jamila?
No, let me tell you. No, the power went, man, and it just threw me off. I have a routine. So yeah, so I don't have to get up and I have to sit down and drink my coffee and meditate for a little while. And then, before I start to get ready, and then, I have to factor in the procrastination I'm gonna do around the house before I actually leave the house. So it's like a whole routine. Yeah. I have a whole how to be late routine. Huh?
Coming back to the topic, I mean, we really, really got to preserve a lot of our cultural ways and our cultural norms. I understand that, rules are in place for a reason, but say one, say two. We allowing during COVID, okay, we allow a lot of mega ships to come in here and damage our coral reefs. Do you know that the Virgin Islands is one of the places that had not very rare islands that had natural coral reefs? We allow them to come in here and bust up our coral reefs where our crustacean and our fish utilized for habitation, so on and so forth. Just to say, oh, they bust up the coral reefs, now we're gonna put back man-made coral reefs. That's ludicrous. The definition of insanity is continuing to do the same things and expecting different results. And all in the guise of tourism. And one of the things that I always say to people is, what about the people that live on these islands? What about us? We have to live here. We're not vacationing here. We're living here. This is our norm. This is our values, our cultures, and our traditions that we have to uphold. We can't go with how other people live or other people coming from and disrespect their laws, their values, their culture, their norms, their traditions. And so,
I agree.
At the end of the day, when things are disrupted and you go about your merry way with whatever you gain from that disruption, we still have to live here and we have to do
and clean up the chaos.
Trying to clean up the mess that you leave behind. And so there are different things that we just, and so I would love for you to just do a show, not even a full show, but just invite one from St. Thomas and one from St. Croix.
No problem. We could talk offline and we could set it up. We'll use Streamline and we could get somebody in here. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that.
And then okay, and then the next topic I want to ask you to talk about is the Miss Universe.
I have the clip from channel. I have the interview from Brittany Robinson did a full interview with Marcelina Ventura Douglas. And,
we watched it.
And so I have that. Jen went out. When she comes back, I was going to talk about that. I figured I would get to that about 9:15 today. So we will get to Miss Brittany. Okay. All right.
Jamila, don't go there. Before you do that, that's your favorite skill. Before you go into that, one of the things listening to that is, my partner here next to me may not say it, but when the initial thing happened and we had spoken a couple of years ago, and we did a petition, as I had called you and tell you, we actually had an engagement with tourism to brand Miss Universe.
Oh, for real? It had happened? I didn't know it had happened. Okay.
No, they didn't brand it. No, they did not brand it. We asked them to brand it, and they did not.
No, I mean, you had the discussion with them, though. You did have the discussion with them. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that had happened.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, we did a whole lot with a petition. We got New York Times involved. So we talked to Miss Universe. We talked to the Miss Universe organization in New York. And with our petition, the New York Times picked it up and called, because we had these Amazon ladies coming from the States, perpetrating to be, Virgin Islanders.
Couldn't even say St. Croix right with it nonsense.
No, St. Croix. and so basically it was a big thing, and we did reach out to the Department of Tourism, but at the time, the commissioner, his concern was, we of course we could do that, but we don't have anybody to run it. But with all the individuals that we have here,
we get Queen show people. Let's say we get queen, people knocking dog left, right. And that's why I was to say Champagne leave St. Thomas.
Yeah, and Champagne has told me himself, listen, I will run it.
Yeah.
I will run it. If
we own it, we'll run it. Yeah.
Miss Universe, the people at the Miss Universe organization was so perplexed with our advocacy for the Virgin Islands. They said, listen, we are going to restrict the Virgin Islands from the Miss Universe participants from the U.S. Virgin Islands because we come at them until you guys can get your own representation.
And we need, and people don't understand how important that is. I mean, I want that when I see a contestant on the stage saying they're representing the Virgin Islands, that number one, they look like us. I recognize their family name. I can make a connection to them in the territory. If I can't make a connection, then I who you be, and but so Jamila, yeah. But our product is tourism. Right? Tourism. Exactly, I agree. Realize that islands like Puerto Rico and other nations across the country, other countries across this nation and the world. I mean, do you realize that they utilize that Miss Universe pageant to boost their tourism product? It does, and I do think that tourism is an entity to purchase it, and and I also think that we have to, the Miss Universe, the Miss World, whatever those national or international pageants are, the Virgin Islands need to own the franchise agreements for them. And if then you put it out to bid, like you do everything else, you put it out to bid and let the best organization who will have write up a proposal that will tell you how they're going to organize the pageant, run the pageant, how the pageant they're going to use this pageant to elevate not just the young ladies participating, but the territory as a whole. And then you're awarded to that organization who has the best plan to utilize the pageant to provide a greater service to the territory. I think that it's a win. It would be a win-win for the community. But so often we lack the vision. We lack belief in ourselves.
But Jamila, when we did that after what they did to all local, most of them from St. Croix, a few from St. Thomas, and we spoke to tourism, they had no vision. Without vision, the people perished. So that's not an excuse anymore. After hearing Miss Robinson last night, it was apparent to me that we could have had this on the wrap.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, we would have helped tourism. We weren't going to just leave them hanging, but the conversation was had for New York Times to pick it up.
Yeah.
It was a big deal to us.
And it's a big, and it remains a big deal. And as somebody who, y'all know how I feel about pageants. I'm not particularly fond of them, but I will support, the Virgin Islands 100%. And I do think that there's so many people in my life that love pageantry. One of my niece has already mapped out all of the queen shows she's going to for this Christmas season to include little school pageants. And I'm like, what? So many people around me like this idea of being, involved in pageants. And so I think that we missed an opportunity, but the opportunity isn't lost. I think that Brittany's and Marcelina Ventura Douglas, she's a former Miss St. Croix. She had Miss St. Croix, yeah, Marcelina was Miss St. Croix. Their discussion just shed light on the importance of pageantry, and so many young ladies around here that I know use their experience in pageantry to be the springboard for their professional careers. So there's some pluses to pageantry.
I'm gonna jump off with this and then wait on your video.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the video so we can hear.
I would like the United States Virgin Islands Department of Tourism to chew on this little bit of nugget. When you watch pageantry that is globally viewed by a global audience all across the world.
Mm-hmm.
And you see individuals that are not familiar with the Virgin Islands, that's not a part of our diaspora culture, the dynamics that our islands exude. They're not familiar with it, and they get up there. They can't even pronounce certain landmarks correctly. They can't even pronounce the name of the islands correctly.
Miss, I just want to thump them in the throat.
So what that does is it puts a great distaste in the eyes of individuals that's watching it. That's not our representation. There are certain pageants like Miss World, Miss Universe, those major pageants that you can identify that's great for a tourism product. We need to own the rights to those. And
we need to.
Universe said it. They said you could actually pay for the franchise, and then the Virgin Islands will be free to run their Miss Universe franchise the way that they have to.
Yeah, and this
happens.
And this happens all the time, and it ain't just happening in pageantry. You know, the Chess Federation have this whole confusion. They got a white woman who don't live here that is be bringing in her friend from all over the world to attend chess events for the Virgin Islands. The Chess Federation to get money, and she to send her friend them to represent the Virgin Islands in chess. The teacher in St. Thomas, St. Clair, that's his name, St. Clair. Help me. I is from St. Thomas. Help me, man. They had a principal in St. Thomas named St. Clair that was play chess.
I'm not familiar with him.
I don't remember the name. Wilkinson, Walterson is with a W. But he's the top of the hour. He's been fighting to get that chess federation here, you know, so we have to reclaim our rights. I have to go because we have to do the top of the hour, and thank you guys for calling in.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, bye-bye.
Stand up for decency. Stand up for compassion. Stand up for respect. Stand up for
This is the one I want to get. How I get to you this one.
Stand up for the
Get on Facebook.
WSD's FM 100. The soul.
Yes. Okay, no problem.
Hi, you're tuned in to Just Jamila. You know the rules. I talk about what I want to talk about until you call to change the subject. So call 773-0390 or 773-0490 and get to know and talk to me, and I'm Just Jamila.
Okay. All right. Okay. And good morning, and we're back. If you guys are tuning in, you are at 9:70 a.m. on your radio dial. I am your host, Jamila Russell. Okay, yeah, somebody text me. Yeah, somebody said it's Wilkinson. So yes, Mr. Wilkinson is going through this battle. I'm Jamila. Wait, let me start over. Good morning. If you guys are just tuning in, you're at 9:70 a.m. on your radio dial, WSTX. If you're listening to me on Facebook, you're on my Facebook page, Just Jamila. Okay, thanks. We're gonna share the screen just now at 9:15. Okay. How long it was again? I mean, it was 43 minutes, but it had the one section where I can just do the very beginning. Yeah, me gonna play the whole 43. I gonna do some of it, but I just wanted people to hear it, and then I'll direct them there.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And so I'm happy to be here with you this morning. I want to say good morning to good morning, Kim. I love you. You know I miss you, and I'm sending love to you all the time, every time. I want to thank all of my listeners for always tuning in. I appreciate the fact that you guys are tuning in. For the record, my show will not be housed on Facebook. I have lost, well, I mean, I still have them. It's just, it's hard to get a lot of my older videos. Facebook deletes them. And so in order to maintain some of my shows, I'm switching over to another platform, and we're getting that platform ready so that you can view my show on that platform. And I will ask that, you know, all of you who follow me on Facebook, that you follow me on the YouTube, because we're going to have to switch over to the YouTube platform so that the shows can remain. Because right now they they have a little dead on Facebook. All right. So I am sharing that with you. And as we build it out, I'll let you guys know when you can actually go back over there and see the stuffs. Okay. All right. So that being said, it has been a wonderful Thanksgiving week. I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope you had time with your family. As I was saying earlier this morning, tomorrow isn't promised to anybody, and we have to learn to forgive those people we love, because life is short. And so I urge you this weekend, if there's somebody that you're upset with or you're beefing with, use this Thanksgiving time just to try to make amends. Sometimes we always want to be right, and we always want to prove to people that we're right, they're wrong. And sometimes just to keep the peace and to keep the love, you have to just recognize silently to yourself that, this is a situation where proving to be right isn't the best for your overall family structure, friendship structure, whatever it is. And just learn to let things go. All right. Because tomorrow certainly isn't promised. And I want to say that I am having the best Thanksgiving in a long time. I like Thanksgiving. I like food, as y'all can see. I like food. If there's a pageant, Miss Fat and trying to lose weight competition, I would join and run. If you had to, eat for talent or something, I would run. But I'm having the best Thanksgiving ever. I went out, and while we're talking about sports and branding and supporting our organizations and owning our organizations, we should support all things Virgin Islands. And I try to. I don't know anything about soccer. Y'all know I'm a soccer auntie, and my niece, Zanaya Gonzaga, played for the Virgin Islands women's national team. They had a home match against St. Lucia, and we win. The Virgin Islands win. And I don't want people to take this the wrong way, but somebody probably will and will twist my words, but that's fine. I saw so many people who migrated here from St. Lucia who are now naturalized U.S. citizens that repped their St. Lucia flag, had their St. Lucia shirts on, and they came out to support the St. Lucia team. What I didn't see was Virgin Islanders, Crucians, St. Thomians that look like me. Black, a lot of, native Virgin Islanders weren't present on the field to support. They were a lot, the parents of the people who made the team clearly were there. And then there were like a lot of Caucasians that were out there supporting the women's national team. And that speaks to Virgin Islands pride. Now, I understand it was Thanksgiving Day at 4 o'clock, but guess what? We have become so Americanized that most Virgin Islanders sit down and you watch a football game and you don't know anybody playing on the field. You don't have children that knew them. You don't know their families. And I'll chalk this one up to maybe the Soccer Federation didn't do a good job in promoting the event, and they need to do a better job at promoting the event, because they did not do a good job at promoting the event, so they need to do better. But we as Virgin Islanders, even when things are promoted for us, we don't see the kind of support that these other nations show their teams. And so I was sitting behind the Virgin Islands. I want to say dugout, but I know it's not a dugout. Dugout is for baseball. Whatever it is called in soccer, I was sitting behind of that. And in the stands, of course, were a lot of the people who were actually from St. Lucia, and they were rooting for St. Lucia as well and rooting for the Virgin Islands. And I have to give it to, I'm going to call his name. Y'all know him as Jamban. His name is Bertrand Stevens. He is of St. Lucian descent. I think he was actually born in St. Lucia, but he lived here. I don't even know if he was born in St. Lucia, but he did it best. He repped his Virgin Islands and St. Lucia. And you know what he said? He said at the end of the day, when they go home, they're going back to St. Lucia. He's staying here in the Virgin Islands. He's chosen the Virgin Islands to be his home, but that is his mother's and his family's land of birth, and he has a kindred connection to them. So he was out there cheering, and I could not be angry with that. And I want to say thank you for all of them who came out, because had it not been for those Crucian Lucians that came out to support the Lucian and the Crucians, we would not have seen so many people that look like us in the stands. So I need to applaud them for coming out to not only support the Virgin Islands team, but they were supporting their St. Lucia, the girls from St. Lucia as well. And the Virgin Islands win. And I remember now why I don't like going to sport games, because the anxiety, the stress, I break up a fingernail, gripping on the stand. It was just, when you see the ball coming down by the goal, you just get so nervous that they're going to kick it in. And then, you just, the nerves. And I did realize that, and I told a senator who's not my boss this, I don't own anything that says Virgin Islands. Like I don't own, like I have like a Virgin Islands cap that I buy from, like the gas station, but I don't have any Virgin Islands paraphernalia. I have like flags, because when the legislature does Flag Day, it'll come and give you a Virgin Islands flag for Flag Day. So I have the flags from Flag Day. I have those, but okay, I can take it now. But I don't have any Virgin Islands gear. So my sister and her husband, Kai, I'm so happy my sister is here. I'd be happy when I'm around my sisters. So my sister and her husband had full gear. He lives in Florida, and he has full Virgin Islands gear. He had a Virgin Islands hat, a Virgin Islands shirt, a Virgin Islands shoes, Virgin Islands socks. He have everything Virgin Islands. Zan had everything Virgin Islands. And it's so funny because Zan's parents are from, so his real name is Henry Gonzaga, but his nickname is Zan. So Zan used to play basketball, for those of you who know him, right? So Zan, mother, and all of that is from St. Lucia. But so one of the girls who know him, she was like, "Where's your St. Lucia flag?" And they're talking in patois. And I was like, "What he said?" He said, the girl, my friend, said, "Oh no," he said, "My daughter is from the Virgin Islands. My daughter playing for the Virgin Islands team. I still love St. Lucia, but today it's all Virgin Islands." And I was just dying. And he was running up and down with this big Virgin Islands flag. But I don't have a Virgin Islands flag like that. So I need a Virgin Islands. I need a big Virgin Islands flag. And then I need like a Virgin Islands hat. I need Virgin Islands shirt. I need the shorts. I need the socks. I need the slippers. I need all things Virgin Islands for what I set for me, and I set for Shashamani, because even Chappie in Atlanta have Virgin Islands gear. I was like, "How you have Virgin Islands gear? I don't even have Virgin Islands gear." So I need to get some Virgin Islands gear. So I just need y'all to tell me where I can go to get me and Shashamani some Virgin Islands gear, because I own nothing. All right. And then I need to get Madras. I don't own anything in Madras. Those two things I'm going to get. That's my goal for 2026. All right. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Happy belated Thanksgiving to all that celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
I am working on a large enough Virgin Islands flag to wrap you up in. Anyway.
Oh, Lord.
That being said,
Mm-hmm.
did you enjoy your tofu turkey?
I didn't have no tofu turkey, but I did enjoy Thanksgiving. I was with my sister, and like I said, I went to the soccer game, and I enjoyed seeing the Virgin Islands win. And I want to just thank everybody who came out. And, had it not been for those St. Lucians who came out to support the St. Lucian team and cheer on the Virgin Islands team, it was a very good game. And the soccer started, the soccer game started exactly on time. Like I got there at 4:03. Like I parked up at 4:03. The game had done start Like, yeah, they apparently soccer is a very timely sport.
Yes, it is.
So
And very disciplined.
yes, it's very timely. And for somebody like me who's in timely, but I need to go do this because I want the audience. We're going to be talking about the ownership of pageantry. So I want to thank you for calling in and happy Thanksgiving to you.
Okay, the
Okay.
same to all.
All right, cool. Okay. All right, bye-bye. All right, so if you guys didn't know, Marcelina Ventura Douglas from WTJX, our NPR station in the Virgin Islands, conducted a wonderful interview with Brittany. We're going to share the audio for the listeners, and then we're going to share some of the video with those people who can see on Facebook. But you can watch the full interview.
How are you feeling? We are speaking with our.
Mark the page, this section where I was.
We are speaking with our.
But
we are speaking with our Miss
and,
Universe Virgin
okay, so
Islands, Brittany Robinson. Brittany, thank you so much for joining me today.
No, thank you for having me.
All right, now
I need to see something.
We're going to speak honestly and frankly, but before we get into all of that, speak to me about, the national pageant. Now that it's concluded, how are you feeling emotionally and mentally?
For me, thank you so much, Marcy, for even having me today. But starting with the national pageant, I feel that overall it was a lot overwhelming for me in terms of emotions because Miss Universe was a franchise that I was always passionate about, or you could even say it almost appeared as a dream for me as it was a long-term endeavor. For the national pageant, I did grow some great ties with my sister, Aurelia. I love her. But beyond that, my thing with the national pageant was that, for something of such stature, we had Miss Universe visiting St. Croix. So that in itself was a little pressure, but it was exciting just to see her, Victoria. She was 2024 Miss Universe. She was really kind. She was very human, per se. You don't really expect that from celebrities. But for her, I really love that she was kind and down to earth. My only thing is I did feel that, we should have made it a more grandiose experience, being that she was in the Virgin Islands for the first time and the ties with Denmark, etc. But nonetheless, I had a great time connecting with my personal delegates, as in my fellow delegates, because we were there for the weekend. But I wish we were more, I guess you could say, organized at the national level. I just felt that in regards to venue and experience, it could have been something more uplifting, more, what's the word, organized, more.
This is nationals, or are you talking?
Nationals, as in here locally in St. Thomas. I just want us to represent the brand the best we can in our islands. The reason why I'm sharing that, because I feel that first impressions are lasting, and being that we had the actual Miss Universe entity here, like the actual organization, the reigning queen, the VP of the selection committee, I felt that was our first impression. And I just think there's a lot we can learn from that in simple things from like organization to advertising. Me being a performer, I love when we have large audiences and just reaching out to the community or the community reaching out after.
Yeah.
Many people shared that they had no idea the pageant was happening. So for that, I would hope for the years to come that that's something we take more seriously. Just because in many different conversations to many people, especially people from like tourism, etc., stated they weren't even aware that Miss Universe was going to be on the island. So
when you speak about that, because between your win and your travel to the overall national competition, Miss Universe itself, that preparation happened rather quickly. Do you think you felt prepared? And if not, what would you have done differently during your preparation? Or how did that impact your performance?
Oh, yes. For me, I definitely would say I personally did not feel 100% prepared. I'm someone who goes through extensive planning and organization. To your point, something that I would suggest to the committee and delegates to come. First of all, the pageant needs to be hosted earlier. I know there are talks of that, so fingers crossed for delegates to come. Another thing, it was very hard in terms of I had a 2-week turnaround. So to have 2 weeks from national to get to internationals or the actual Miss Universe platform, that was mentally draining. It was very, very hectic being prepared. So definitely there's no one but God to thank. And of course, my support system, my sponsors, that really helped me to do that full-time turnaround for 2 gowns and a very expensive costume in 2 weeks. I am forever indebted to the support I have there. Mentally, I didn't even get to decompress. My only decompress moment was in my travels to Thailand. So I would definitely hope the delegates who come have more than a plane ride to decompress, as I feel that was the time needed to reset and really present yourself at 100. And well, we'll get into it, but definitely that lack of decompression and that lack of time to reset from nationals into internationals, it started to take a toll on me, and I did my best to avoid it from showing in my performance. But I definitely feel that it could have been better.
Okay, so I want to for the rest of the interview, you can go to WTJX, Virgin Islands Public Broadcasting System on Facebook, and you can watch the entirety of the interview. But I played that clip so you can hear it from her mouth itself, right? So Miss Universe was here in the territory. So many people didn't know. First impressions are lasting impressions. And the fact that she didn't feel prepared. And I think all of this, I'm not a pageant person. I'm not going to pretend to be a pageant person, but I do believe that that's because we don't own our own. And when we don't own our own, people treat us how they want to treat us. So some people own these franchises for, this is their step into being able to launch a particular platform. This is their opportunity to be able to, springboard into other things, give them access to backstage passes at Miss Universe that they would not have otherwise been able to do. And so they use the Virgin Islands. Let's just call it what it is. They use the Virgin Islands, they use the territory. And the fact that the whoever owns the franchise in the territory now didn't think to contact the Department of Tourism when Miss Universe was visiting our territory and to allow for the greatest amount of exposure to young girls, to school-age children, just befuddles me. And like my good friend Mosflo said when she first called, actually no, she changed her name on Facebook, is Star WS Corp, right? The bottom line is that so many of us weren't aware, and there's so many of us that understand that if we want to send somebody, when somebody wears the U.S. Virgin Islands on their sleeve, across their shoulders, on top of their head, that they're carrying a territory of 4 Virgin Islands and the less than 100,000 people that live here now on their shoulders and on their backs, and they represent us. And we want to be able to give them all of the support that they need to excel in the areas that they're performing in. And I just see that we don't do that. And, this young lady, it was like, okay, you win, 2 weeks later, you're heading down the road. We don't, that's not how we were raised. And that's not how we were raised to treat people and how to treat one another. And so we have to start to reclaim what is uniquely the Virgin Islands, and the way we treat people, and the way we compose ourselves, and the way we demonstrate our Virgin Islands pride. And I want to thank Marcelina for a very good interview. I listened to it last night, and the fact that the Department of Tourism was not involved should be a flag, and it further cements my position that all of these national and international beauty franchises should be owned by the government of the Virgin Islands, specifically the Department of Tourism. All right. So somebody just texted me and said Miss Universe USVI pageant is owned locally, sadly. Well, clearly they have no bratopsy, because we all know that when people come to visit, we show them Virgin Islands. We pride ourselves. We pride ourselves in hospitality. When somebody's coming to your house, like my cousin to call me when she knows somebody coming, let me use that example. If my cousin know my sister coming in town, and this is my sister, but this is my cousin I grew up in the house with, she'd be like, oh, you make sure you sweep and you map, and we don't allow people to come into our space unless it is nice and clean, unless we have food to give them, and we make sure that we treat them with warmth and make them feel welcome in a place, and we roll out the red carpet. That's what we do. We don't do things half step in. So whoever own it, you may want to give it up. Somebody else on the line? All right. Good morning. I might pull up our next one. Yeah.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hey, Jamila.
Yes.
Okay, so Miss Universe USVI is owned by a local person, but you see, this goes to what I was saying before. The United States Virgin Islands Department of Tourism needs to own the franchise for Miss Universe USVI. Because
Hold on one second. Shashamani,
Yeah.
tell Jen I have no audio on tuning. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
It is part of our tourism product, because on a global stage in front of a global audience, it shows representation for the Virgin Islands. So based on what you said in the beginning, I think that's excellent that the Virgin Islands own it, and we can contract out or subcontract out the running of it, because
Jen, they say we have no audio on tuning. On the
to
tuning.
follow our rules and our
Yeah.
regulations
That's
for
Josh. Yeah.
operation of the franchise.
Let's talk about the person
And then
we fought hard to get somebody locally to purchase the Miss Universe. So please, on our chat,
Okay.
we fought hard that this made national news, New York Times, that we did a petition with over 3,000 Virgin Islanders and hashtagging the woman, not our Miss VI, not our Miss USVI. Okay,
Yeah, I remember that.
The comment on Facebook that just posted, Jamila,
Mm-hmm.
let them know that the reason we call it after we see last night, Miss Robinson, is that we fought hard to get somebody locally, and I could call two names that we spoke to that wanted to get 5 million and didn't. So we work hard. So Saber, you come in, I understand that we have it here now, and what we call it to say tourism. Jump in now. It's your time to listen to take part in getting the brand or the franchise.
Yeah, and I think yeah.
Looking at Miss Robinson and saying, that's me. So I take this very passionately,
Yeah.
and I am a cushion to
Yeah.
okay?
And I just hope, and I hope that tourism hears us.
But what I'm saying is, it goes to show that it has to be managed by the Virgin Islands. It has to be owned. The franchise has to be owned. Miss Universe is a big thing, and Brittany did say that it fell along a little bit of notches in the interview based on what she envisioned that it would be, because she aspired to be here all her life as a young pageant lady,
Mm-hmm.
and so it did fall along You know,
And we,
and look at those Latina countries, they own their franchises.
yeah,
Puerto Rico, isn't Miss Universe going to be in Puerto Rico next year?
yeah,
So, you know, these are Latina countries. They take great pride in the public representation of their island. So they're not going to just let anybody who buy it and say, you represented Puerto Rico. You don't represent the Virgin Islands if you're leaving our Miss Universe world like that.
yeah.
No, she needs the support. And our next Miss Universe needs the support and the backing of the United States Virgin Islands.
I agree.
That's all I got to say.
Well, thank you for the call, and I appreciate that. All right.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, and again, you can catch the full interview on the WTJX Facebook page, the interview that the caller referenced. All right. So I think, okay. Yeah, I don't know why press. Apparently, I'm not on StreamYard. Jen. No. Okay, it's these down. Can you guys hear me now? Hello? I don't know. I don't think any of my mics are on. Let's see. Can you guys hear me now? That's what it was, Jen. How about now? Okay. 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 Well, we'll see. We'll try to figure it out. I'll let Josh know. I was getting a call saying that you can't hear me on StreamYard. So I just wanted to make sure that not on StreamYard, on TuneIn. So we'll let Josh know. All right, cool. Okay, so I had a whole show planned out, and see, this is what happened when I plan shows, right? I had a whole show planned out and everything, but you know the rules. I talk about what I want to talk about until you guys called in to change the subject, and these issues gonna still be around next week. So I'm not particularly worried. The one thing I do want to touch bases on though is that couple of weeks ago, we're very selective in the laws that we want to follow. And the Virgin Islands has, we started this discussion. I had a call about the fishermen and, some of the rules and regulations that exist. And laws need to be followed. And people in the Virgin Islands children watching. And we have selective amnesia. We have selective regulation that's happening. We have favor-based policies that are adopted. And I don't understand. As I was this week, when I was in my car, I heard an advertisement that number one of my reggae singers that I happen to like, Desiree, is performing at Prosperity Farms or whatever it's called. Then I heard another commercial about stay tuned, that there's a old year's jam out at Prosperity Farms. But I know that they only have a business license to farm. And I also know that less than 5 years ago, when this gentleman came and was operating a distillery without the proper permit, and the legislature, through an amendment, changed the zoning of that property, that so many people in Frederickstead kicked up. There was a huge meeting down at Rotary West in Frederickstead where the people came to oppose this distillery that was causing havoc in the community and polluting and all of these issues that the people had, to the point where the Senate then repealed the amendment that they had previously passed and put back the original zoning designation, which is agriculture, for those parcels of land out in Frederickstead. Fast forward to now, he's the owner of the property is using the plantation house, the mansion or whatever it is that you call it, the house, as a venue space. And because it has now become a Bram Hall, everybody forget that he does not have the required permits or licenses to operate, and that he's breaking the Virgin Islands law. And everybody is, and the same people, some of the same people who opposed the distillery, talking about how wonderful the venue is, how great it is to have a venue. And nobody is arguing that the plantation might be beautiful. I've heard stories about plantation. I have never been to plantation. I don't have any intention of going to plantation. Those of you who know me know I have a strict moral code. If I say I ain't doing something, I ain't doing it. They've had political people who brought bands I wanted to hear, and because I don't support them, I missed out on a free jam. I don't care. I have morals, right? I have a code in which I live by, and I want consistency. And we're very inconsistent. We wanted to, the white woman that was blocking the access to the beach. We wanted, she was violating the beach access laws, and we wanted to nail her to the cross and bury her. But here comes this man violating the law openly, have advertisements on the radio, and there's so many of you that go on Facebook to defend him. Our children are watching. Laws are created, whether or not you like the law. And if you think it's an unfair or unjust law, then you do what you're supposed to do and petition to get the law changed. But a law exists for a reason. Every other person, I know somebody who's trying to open a bar, and they have to go and get alcohol permit. And if he opened his shop just for his friends to sit down and drink, and he ain't selling nothing, licensing has come out and told him you can't do that. So how is it that this man, because he has money, can say, oh, I'm going to do what I want? And then how is it that this is a problem for the government? The Department of Licensing, the fire department, and the police department needs to go to that venue, and if there is any event the night of, shut it down. It is in the law, it's in the code, they can close down the event. So if you are a promoter, I am warning you that if you have an event plan in that facility, you may want to look for another facility. Last year when Mr. Pemberton, may his soul rest in peace or rest wherever it is, open his spot, all y'all was going to Mr. P spot, right? Go there. All you just run like hurry dog to the latest blinking thing. That is why we don't find ourselves in the problems we don't find ourselves in, because we just want to be close to quote unquote power and money, and he trying free Brahman, and this is a space, and I feel like I close to money and all of this. That is how we don't get ourselves in problem. The man don't have a license. That property is for farming. That property isn't for alcohol consumption. That property ain't for Jamban to go there. And let me tell you, I like Jamban, and if Jamban got to perform there, I'm not going. So because he does not have the license. And I am selective in how I imagine. Y'all didn't like this man less than 5 years ago, and the same set of Ayo that didn't like him, loving him now because he trying Ayo free Bram and telling Ayo, oh, you could come in the house, because he is letting you into the slave quarters, slave master owner house. All of a sudden you feel like you've arrived. You're no longer a field slave. You're now a house slave. So you're good with being a house slave. Come on, y'all have to get out of that mentality. And then you want our children to have respect for you all who flout in the law. Regular Black folks trying to open a business. I know people who are trying to open their spot. My cousin was trying to open his spot. You know how much inspections he had to go through? He had to jump through hoops to make sure he have this for fire, that, everything, and he was in the right zoning. This man isn't even in the right zoning. And all he's doing is paying the $5,000 fine, and the government needs to, and the government needs to send a clear message. Any promoter, I am sorry if y'all have invested your money. I am so sorry. Find a new venue. But the government of the Virgin Islands has to be serious. If DLCA has shut them down and DLCA has issued fines, DLCA needs to be on the phone with all of the heads of the other agencies to say, listen, we heard this commercial on this night when we're doing a sting operation and we're shutting the ish down. Okay, that's what they need to do. And who want to be vexed with me could be vexed with me. It is what it is. He does not have the license. Find another venue. He needs to do what everybody else to do. Every other business owner in the territory could share with you some of the trials and tribulations they went through to open their business. How is it that this man could just flout our law and have advertisement up and down on the radio? When you go on Facebook, you get all kind of sponsored ads with all kind of people about with rum sharing and no consequence. We such hypocrites around here. Like, we so fickle. I can understand now why some of y'all don't have a problem with our delegate calling a man at 11 o'clock in the night according to the timeline of events and her deposition for money who was a convicted pedophile. I can see why some of y'all don't have a problem with that, because y'all, once somebody have money and you think you close to money, y'all okay with whatever. Y'all will let anybody do anything to y'all once it garners you a few pennies. It's money over morals instead of morals over money. You understand? So I done with Ayo. This is what Ayo like. But I am going to say it. I'm going to continue to say it. The Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs needs to get on the horn on Monday and contact the Virgin Islands Police Department, the Virgin Islands Fire Department, the Department of Planning and Natural Resources, the Department of Health, because you're selling consumables, you have to get a permit from health. And all of those, they need to do an interagency shutdown. And then you have to call the Bureau of Internal Revenue because they're making money that night. And so all of you go out there and shut it down. Okay? And who vexed dead? Oh. Good morning. Yes.
Good morning. Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Yeah. I could speak to Jamila, please.
This is Jamila.
How come you? How you the talk and you put away behind a woman?
I don't know. There's a delay, clearly, so that when retarded people call me and I want to hang up on them.
Oh, okay. That's why I like have the radio there. Let me know you don't know because I didn't say we know we didn't hear because I listened to one thing I say, well, no, I hearing you talking about it. But no, what the thing with the lady, our station over here, we couldn't hear it. I didn't know like what the girl was trying to talk about this Britney girl.
So, you wasn't hearing it on the internet. Sorry. Okay. I am so sorry that you didn't get to hear it. But you could go on Facebook. Let somebody pull it up for you on Facebook. Okay. She was just talking about the fact she was just talking about her treatment. She was talking about her treatment, like the show. The Miss Universe came to the Virgin Islands, and nobody knew that the Miss Universe came to the Virgin Islands. The contestants, they had them to events across the territory that was poorly advertised, and then she did the pageant, and then 2 weeks later she had to go to the international competition, and she really didn't have the support. So whoever owns the franchise do a horrible job, and that franchise needs to be taken away from them.
Oh, okay.
Well,
she
didn't. She didn't say that. I'm saying that.
Okay, because I used to lie about it there what she was going to say, and then something went around that you were just like static in the thing. So I don't.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
No, well, that's all right, man. You don't give me white all about. You know what I mean? So,
all right.
And about Jamila, you what are you going to Cornelia for all the athletes say?
I don't.
Something got to be wrong with us. When Tim Duncan playing thing, you know, in Texas, I have to get people in Texas to send me his jersey, them and thing, because every sports store I went to in St. Thomas, they had one jersey for Tim Duncan.
I don't know. Let me tell you. And I need a VI shot. I want a VI shot. I want the bucket hat for the Virgin Islands. I want socks. I want the slippers. My brother-in-law gets sneakers. I want the whole shebang.
So where you go get them thing? Where you go get them thing?
I don't think any place. My friend my friend say get some of it. My friend say it gets some place in St. Thomas, but I don't know. Star WS Corp, tell me where. I don't know. She didn't put it online. I don't know.
Because I couldn't believe when Tim Duncan was the highest at his peak playing ball. You tell me we ain't Virgin Island every sport.
Foot Locker had his jersey, man, or champs, because I had a Tim Duncan jersey. Well, and St. Croix, I had a Tim Duncan jersey.
Well, I look at St. Thomas, because I saw it every week playing one.
Yeah.
And I have to end up getting it from somebody from Texas.
Yeah.
They have to send it to me to thing. So I don't understand that kind of crap. And Jamila, doing up, but I agree with you too. I don't support you. I am not going to no event you have.
Yeah.
Sorry. I am not taking part in even people in politics. You guys know how to play the game. Just go to the people and say, not me, you know.
I can't play that kind of game. I allergic.
Huh?
I allergic. I don't get hives.
I tell you, I had one for that. Somebody I think articulated me for that one with that breakfast thing where she had that delegate to Congress. I tell them, not me, you know. Not me, you know.
You don't want to be around the piles of pedophiles?
Not me. I say, look, you know who I supporting. Don't bring nobody else to me.
Listen,
not bring no.
I just have a problem. I just have a problem with everybody contorting, acting like they're members of Cirque du Soleil, or they is what a girl named the Simone Biles. They could bend up their body to try to make a defense, and sometimes you just have to. It's indefensible, So
because Jamila, my mouth, I go to that thing. You'll hear the whole show that done.
I rude.
Because me want to hear nothing from her at all, So I would have done the whole breakfast program. I won't have no breakfast, nothing.
I done with you.
I say, you do not bring me to nobody unless, because everybody know who I am. If it's not that, don't call me. Don't bring me no ticket, no free ticket, nothing. Because I don't want nothing to do with them. Because I don't want to hear them. I don't want to hear nothing from them. And I am not taking part in that. So who could play them game like laughing up with them and thing? I think Jamila, I ain't going to disrespect them, you know what I mean? But I just keeping my distance from them, and they know to keep a distance away from me.
That's what you have to
That's
do.
me, my son. That's me. Loyalty. Right. I ain't gonna tell you with that. Okay, Jamila.
Okay.
Thanks for explaining the thing to me.
No problem, my love. Okay, bye bye.
Yeah, okay, sweetheart.
Okay, bye bye. All right, let me see who this other one is. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I'd like to get on the air, please.
You're on the air.
Okay. I appreciate you bringing out this situation with Prosperity Farm Rum Distillery. The latest I know is that consumer says they can't shut them down. And as was reported by WTJX feed in the article about them operating legally, there was to be a hearing on November 18th. That hearing did not occur because Prosperity Farm Distillery did not show up for the hearing. And yet they're still operating. Consumer is saying health could shut them down quicker than them. The fire department could shut them down quicker than them.
That's very true.
I have not been able to get in touch with the Commissioner of Health. I've spoken to the fire chief, who said they don't know about them having a fire certificate. So if you don't know about them having a fire certificate, why haven't you gone there and shut them down?
Well, I'm asking them to, not be selective. And I am calling on the Director of Fire, Antonio Stevens, to do your job. They have a farm license. They're not supposed to have people under that farm license in their building. And I mean, I understand a lot of people like a Bram and they're looking for places to have Bram. They have other places that they could go rent and have their party. Find them.
So you see, we have to realize this thing is a little bigger than the commissioner. Them. As long as we have an attorney general that's appointed by the governor and commissioners that are appointed by the governor, they're not going to do anything. We have to attack the governor and this. He is the one stopping them. That it has to be. Nothing else. It has to be. And the senators are not calling up and saying, well, governor or people, what is going on here? You're hearing them saying nothing. And then I want to inform the public also that you read about a bill the governor is proposing to support these micro distilleries. There is a bill right now moving through the legislature, bill number 36-0211, which is asking to allow micro distilleries and micro breweries in A1 zone, A2 zones, those are the agricultural lands, also the R1 zone, the R2 zone, and public lands. R1 and R2 is where all we live.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like personally, I don't have a problem with micro distilleries being on A1 or A2s, because in other places you can have a micro distillery where you grow the stuff on the farmland and you distill it. I have an issue with it being on government land, which is P. If it's government land, it shouldn't be on P, and then it shouldn't be in R1 and R2. I don't think that when somebody buys a house and they're living in a residential area, that a business entity should be able to come in and build a micro distillery next to them. Farmland is different because you have acres and acres of farmland, but R1 and R2, people houses are situated in those areas. And yes, there is a bill that the governor sent down, and it's working. I guess it's going to work its way through the committee process. And it probably will be amended. I don't know, but I'm sure that there will be some amendments to the bill. And what you see coming in. My son calling me. I hold on there for a second. Hold on. Chappie, you okay? I'm on the radio.
Oh, all right.
You sure? You all right?
Yeah, good.
Okay, you look very handsome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, as soon as I go, 7 minutes, I'm done, and I'll call you right back, okay?
All right.
Okay, love you. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys.
Jamila said it, right?
Uh-huh.
You say you're okay with it in A1 and A2.
Mm-hmm.
These distilleries, like the one in Saint Farm, they're making using breadfruit, and that breadfruit does not give the waste that cane juice distillation gives. You see that black thing that used to be out there, was still there out there on the South Shore, coming from Cruiser Rum and all of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the waste from cane juice distillation. Cane juice with distillation produces vinasse, which is a toxic waste, which this guy clearly have the money to treat it, and he's not treating it. And we believe he have a pipe underground what is discharging it in the ocean, and that's toxic. And if you want to have that on other agricultural land and have it discharged in the ground, if you're in close to the ocean, you're poisoning the land.
No, but just so you know, so you can understand, right? Even if and any bill can be amended, and you can put any provision in the code. So even if you say you can, micro distilleries are allowed on A1 and A2. However, and then you would put what kind of micro distilleries. So you can further amend it by including definitions so that they know what you have to have. And you can also require through legislation that DPNR promulgate rules and regulations for the discharging and the waste of micro distilleries on A1 and A2. So there's always guardrails that you can write into legislation in order to. There's always guardrails that you can put in to protect the land. Whether or not people follow it is a different story, but you can put in those guardrails.
True, that is great that you could put good guardrails, but however, is our government functioning? Does DPNR have the staff
or are they under the whim of the governor? Also, why 3 years ago we went and tried to do inspections on that property, they were not allowed to be done. Okay, again, it took drastic measure, I think, the Attorney General to get on the property this time, and still they are hiding stuff because they're saying they're not spraying, so the people wasn't able to inspect for pesticides or herbicides, and there's pictures of them spraying with 200-gallon tank and thing, and yet DPNR have not stopped them. Okay, putting something in findings and support, or this is what happened. Bosses actually having the staff and the enforcement hand to stop them, which I feel they do, and they're not doing it. You understand? We need to preserve our land for food and start training our children from the elementary age about farming, so that when the farmers 10 years from now die, there's still farmers coming behind them. And then where is the land they're going to use if you're going to put these micro distilleries? And remember, this is a special interest bill. This guy wants to do cane cultivation with the farmers, and he wants to use cane juice to make rum.
And maybe, you know, if you're going to do a micro distillery, to your point, like the one that's up in Science Farm, maybe you can say that you can't use cane for micro distilleries. Maybe you have that because if cane produces such a hazardous waste material, right, as what you're saying, I don't know this. I'm going by your knowledge of this, right? Because I don't know, so I'm trusting you here, right? If cane produces such a hazardous waste, then you can say, listen, you're allowed micro distilleries in A1 and A2, but the micro distillery cannot produce products from cane.
Good suggestion. That will work.
Yeah.
That will
work. So then you allow for micro distilleries. So what that does is that allows for an industry to blossom in the territory, right? And produce jobs and help with the economy while still protecting the agricultural land. So it would be a balance. So you'd have to shift from cane to maybe, I don't know what else, besides breadfruit, what else they don't make. You can make rum from anything. You can make a spirit from anything, apples, anything, mango, anything you can make rum from. But, guava berry, you could do a micro distillery doing guava berry, so I hear you, and my time is up, but we will continue this discussion because until he has the right license, I'm going to remind people of how fickle they are and how hypocritical they can be.
Lawless is the better word.
And lawless. Well,
this is the people who is behind this whole process. Lawless people. This is who we want in our community. People, stop going down there. Stop it, shut it down.
Well, they just be flacking there. I mean, he's competing against the taxi drivers. He don't even have a taxi permit. Taxi drivers have complained him, and it's like he is a bad corporate business partner, But people like Bram. So when you get them Bram and you make it a Bram Hall, all of them going to jump up in there.
Yeah, and there's some of them singing about consciousness and slavery days.
You understand? And going inside of a plantation. Okay. Anyways, I digress. Okay. Okay. Bye-bye. All right. Yeah, I have issues. I do. So on that note, I just want to say congratulations to the Virgin Islands women's soccer team. I want to congratulate their coaches, their managers, the whole entire team. I want to say that I am having a wonderful week. My sister Kai is here with her family, and I am so blessed. I don't know what Edwin do to get such good children, but he does. And I have wonderful sisters, and I enjoy being in their company, and I am having the bestest time. And when I leave from here, I'm going to go hang out with my sister some more. Gotta see her till she leaves tomorrow. I gonna cry like a baby when my sister leave. And I want to say shout out to my handsome nephew, Zion. I love my family. I truly do. And my niece, the soccer star, Zanaya, she's doing amazing things in college on her soccer team for college and for the Virgin Islands national team. And remember, Thanksgiving, we have to be thankful and grateful for all that we have. I am immensely blessed to have really good people in my life. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm thankful for you, my listening audience, although y'all give me blows when I need it, and you provide me with support when I need it as well. And I so appreciate you as well. And this is a time for forgiveness, and we need to learn to forgive and not forget. But in order to be forgiven, people have to be able to admit when they're wrong and express some remorse for the choices they've made. And I want you to remember I said that today because I'm going to pick up on it next week, because y'all throw me off my whole little plan. I had my whole little plan right out in discussions. Ask Jen. I tell her, well, we going to do these things, and y'all come on. But that's okay. Sometimes some Saturdays go like that. My son just called me. He looks very handsome, and he is out and about like he going someplace. So let me go call him, because he probably going to spend money, and it probably isn't going to be his money. So let me go figure out what's going on with Choppy. Kim, I love you, and I'll call you a little bit later. Until next week, Saturday, I don't know how to be anybody but Just Jamila. My Just Jamila page, before I go, I was reminded that my Just Jamila YouTube page is up. You need to just go hit subscribe, like, follow, or whatever it is. I don't even know how it goes on YouTube. I'm still on a learning curve. Go follow it. There's, I think, a few videos up at this point, but you can go and subscribe and follow, because that would be the platform that come the beginning of the year. That's where we're going. All right. I love you guys. Until next week, Saturday. Bye-bye.